Hello and welcome to Daybreak Africa on KAFTAN television, where we imagine a beautiful world. My name is Miracle Odunayo.
My name is Ikhonede Joshua Odeji. Welcome once again to Daybreak Africa on KAFTAN television here in our studio in Ondo State, the sunshine state of the nation. And yes, it's a very beautiful and rainy morning actually.
It is.
All right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, it's still Daybreak Africa, and it's time to go straight to our discussions for today. Today we're looking at a very important topic. If you're very observant, you don't even need to be observant to even know about this. We all know that last week President Bola Ahmed Tinubu celebrated 2 years in office on May 29, 2025. And yes, a lot of reviews were going on about the scorecard for the president on the 2 years he spent so far in office. And many of the times we need to ask ourselves deep questions. Is it really the new renewed hope, or what the people term as the renewed Shege? Because if we look at some of the many things that has happened over the 2 years President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has spent in office, we need to really ask questions. Look at the scorecard, look at his economic policies, his security policies, and many of the other things that characterizes the president of Tinubu in office. To discuss with us today, actually on the show, we have our former member House of Assembly in Ondo State here, in the person of Honorable Olusiji Akindiose. Welcome to the show, sir.
God bless you. God bless you. Sir.
And it's nice having a legislator actually by excellence in a discussion like this actually.
Well, we thank God for the opportunity granted us to be there.
Yeah.
We know what is going on.
Okay.
Yeah, we know what is going on. Maybe I don't actually know actually. Honorable Olusiji Akindiose has been a political persona even from 1993 when Abiola contested for president in Nigeria. Yeah. The one thing we see there is that from your perspective, from our perspective, we all know Tinubu himself happens to be someone who worked closely with Abiola, and he also worked closely with not really worked closely, he was a student of Awolowo at a particular time. Now, people watching President Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming into office will think that majorly most of the policies of Awolowo and Abiola is what is going to be doing in this particular time. But 2 years down to the office, what's your take on his current results and policies and process at this particular time?
Well, we thank God that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is there. Because if he had not been there, it would have been a story that one would be it will be so unbelievable. The kind of criticism that will come. Oh, if he had not been there, if he had been there, he would have turned ashes to gold. If we had elected him, he would have turned water to oil. All those things, because they are masters of propaganda. You see, you refer to him as a student of Awolowo. Those, I believe, were students of Awolowo are almost gone. People have devised cosmetic way of propagating Awolowo's ideas. Yeah. So it is no longer original. You will tell me how? What are the philosophy behind, what are the ideas behind education, rural development, health, and gainful employment, which were the 4 cardinal points of Awolowo. So you can't study Awolowo and you say you studied Awolowo without imbibing the ideas, because before you study something you want to gain from it. However, looking at the terrain was disrupted against the wish of the people. As far back as 1993, Nigerians are yearning for good governance. Yeah, Nigerians are working towards credible elections. Nigerians are not ordinarily given to taking money to vote. They want people that will represent them. But since 1993, when the North and South never knew any division, Christian, Muslims,
yeah,
they never considered that. They voted against poverty, against lack and want, they voted against sickness and diseases because they believed in Abiola, and Abiola won that election. And those who annulled the election are telling us new stories now. Now, what I had been worried about is the fact that some of our new politicians, I mean the current politicians, they don't even consider the fact that let us look back. Let us put things on the right track. So if we are talking about 2 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, president of Nigeria now, I would rather say we should look at the entire space of APC.
Okay.
Because you can't have a party in segments.
Yeah, true. It has
APC came in with change. And they had a list of promises. One of it, very ridiculous at that time, was that they would sell fuel for 40 naira. Yes. In order to push Jonathan away. You know, Jonathan was on a program called Transformation.
Yeah, Transformation Agenda.
Transforming, Greek, all these things. He was trying to do his best. But they disturbed him and disrupted him to the extent that they built a coffin celebrating the outing of Jonathan. This fuel subsidy we are talking about today, they protested against it. So when I just want us to look at it from two perspectives. We cannot separate Buhari's regime from
Tinubu's regime,
because as at the time Buhari was elected, President Tinubu championed his election, organized other parties.
It was the main
kind of coalition, and they came with APC, Ogun Efori, according to him. But now the euphoria is intensified. The intensity of the euphoria is spreading and all over the body. Subsidy removal, and we are in a kind of problem. Scarcity came. What we used to buy 5 naira, you can't get it for 50 naira. It went to 500
naira. Yeah.
So you will see that the ripples, the multiplier effect of removal of subsidy. We cannot say, yes, President Tinubu has done so much for the people.
Okay.
The barometer for measuring what he has done, the performance, is the masses. Go to the masses. If they feel that, yes,
look at it.
In those days in Ibadan, when we used to visit Ibadan, with 500 naira, 3 people could eat amala and then eat enough
meat and abula and all that.
But now it is not so.
At least you spend 2,005.
You want to make stew as a bachelor. That time you have just 1,000. You will buy fish. You will buy all those things. Just a few years ago.
Very few.
Yes.
Because during my service here, I did the same.
So now, if you want to be to politic like the normal APC, we will go all out and be saying, even we exaggerate. And because their own propaganda is established on outrageous issues. Outrageous in the sense that when there is light, they will say there is no light. So in terms of electricity, I remember Governor Fashola then came out and said, I think he was minister then, during the campaign.
3 minutes, it was minister twice.
He said, if within 6 months or within a particular period, Nigerians will experience maximum supply of electricity, that they should stone them. That Nigerians should stone them. But the matter on ground is it's more serious than political propaganda. People are suffering. So if anybody comes on air to say, Baba has done so much, then I will ask, Yes, but I'm not feeling it. Are you feeling it? That is because we want to be
very
truthful, sincere to ourselves. He might have good intentions. Nobody comes to office without good intentions. But if you don't have good plans, then one would have failed before getting there.
I think I love that statement. You might have good intentions,
but
still, because of you don't have good plans.
Yes. For example, I believe anybody who is a true and truthful politician must have a policy on education. I give you an example. Each time I drive out and it's about school closing time for schools, and I see multitude of heads, all these young ones, I become worried. How will Nigerians take care of these people? Our leaders are not thinking about them. They are not thinking. In Akure, you will see Fiwashaye girls, you will see Oyemekun boys.
The Oyemekun especially.
Sea of heads. And then you'll be worried. Well, maybe in the morning when they are rushing to school, or when they are out. Just get to the stadium during Children's Day or any of these Independence Days, and you see the children, then you'll be worried. Awolowo never failed to project for our students, for the pupils in the Western region in those days. He never failed. The literature, you can pick the literature of Awolowo on these matters. Are we reading? Are we studying? You study Awolowo and you are not doing what Awolowo did in a better form. I don't think anybody can claim that he studied Awolowo and you are not. You can at least manifesting some of the things Awolowo did. Under a coach in football, and you say you are going to apply it to, then the next thing you do is to be playing basketball. It doesn't merge. It doesn't make sense. So I am saying that, yes, those who work with the presidency, those who are in APC, they will tell you that they have achieved much. It is not in my position to say they have not achieved, because that is the perspective they see achievement. My own kind of achievement is that, what are the people saying? What are the feelings? Get to the market. Ask. In Ondo State some years ago, the markets were bad. Very bad. Terrible. Very dirty. But somebody came up with urban renewal. Governor Mimiko. Yes. He came with urban renewal. And we can still see them now. You can still see the markets. Yes. He came with kind of Awolowo type of system. He studied. That is the man. I worked with him. I knew he studied Awolowo, and he did what Awolowo used to do. About education, you will say, go out, get to any community in Ondo State, you will find a mega school, a model of his mind, his conception, his vision. But can you say that about some other people? Look at health. He won so many awards on health, because he said Awolowo gave us health institutions in the Western region, and we have to improve. And he has improved on. Built the first university, at least in Nigeria, that concentrates on health matters. The first university of health sciences in Nigeria. In Nigeria is there, in Ondo there. And when it comes to health issues like outreach to villages and so on, health rangers, he started it as a commissioner. And so these are the things we look at. The training of civil servants in Ondo State. He built a public training, civil service training school institution there. I think around Ilara also. Civil servants were going there to train. He never charged them one kobo. The APC came in. They asked teachers to go and do one course, do this, do that. That is not. These were people who enjoyed free education. They are now the policy makers of very stringent educational systems. So, well, with my friends who are in APC, we used to discuss. I'm not an enemy. We are not enemies. We are within the space called Nigeria. And if it is good, you bought a tire for your car recently, tell me the price. Whether the able man that sold it to you asks you for your party card, you will tell the people. So the Gary,
they are all suffering together.
No, we are in it. So it is better we tell ourselves the truth.
The truth.
So when I get out of the studio, next it could be my friend from APC that we will meet. We'll go and enjoy ourselves.
But the truth, and the person that's going to get the bills for me guys will tax you guys your political parties.
Exactly.
So in to be sincere, Nigerians are not finding it easy. Look at security.
I want to even ask, before we even get to security, I want to ask about the economic policy, because I know to a very large extent, almost all political aspirants in 2023 were talking about the issue of the fuel subsidy, that they were going to remove the fuel subsidy. Now, they removed the fuel subsidy when they became president. Bola Ahmed Tinubu particularly removed the fuel subsidy when he became president. And ever since then, moves to ensure that there is going to be his, because we all knew, honestly, that if the fuel subsidy left, the hunger was going to bite, because everything in Nigeria depended on oil. So the minute you removed it, we were now looking at, okay, what are the steps you are going to take that's going to ease the whole hardships that was going to come with it. But till today, the inflation is still at a very high level. They were talking about the fact that, okay, this year is going to go to as low as 15%. But this is June already. And if we look at from the statistics of April, we are still at 23%. Now, how do you think they should have addressed it better? Do you think it really did well in that aspect?
Yeah, well, economic policies, floating of the naira.
That's monetary policies, floating of the naira.
Monetary policies.
Plus the fuel subsidy removal.
We want industries, you are asking young men to get startup, and then you want them to go and mortgage, whatever, to use their father's house or property as collateral. Not when bank tells you 27%, you are going towards 32%. Who will start a business with that? So the policies might look good for those people who are at the top, who are the owners of banks, who are the owners of the telecom industries, who find it, they don't even know what is going on at the grassroots. So it might seem good for them. They will tell you in about some months' time, economy will improve. But they are the ones receiving, maybe they are the people who are allocated the oil wells.
Yeah.
So how would they find it? Look at the gold mines all over the country, Zamfara and so on. Those who are opportune to be there can't feel like you and myself. So the issue of fuel subsidy, the approach, we are individual differences. Some people explain that since every of the presidential candidates then said they will remove fuel subsidy. Therefore, that Baba Bola Tinubu remove fuel subsidy should not be a thing for criticism. Why shouldn't it be? It's like going to fish. I can use hook. Another person may use net. So if I want to travel, I can go by air. When I'm going to Abuja, I can say I want to enjoy the roads. God forbid now.
The issue of insecurity.
Yes. I will be taking that risk. Maybe I want to buy fried yam at pillow, and then you can't do that in the air. But we're going to Abuja together. So let nobody deceive Nigerians. Maybe Atiku, Peter Obi, they had their different approaches to. Let me remind us, when Goodluck Jonathan proposed to remove subsidy, he put in place some programs, some cushioning
programs there,
like getting buses on the road, doing a lot of things, and there was a program that time, needs and all those things. where the less privileged will be assisted. And let me tell you, there is no way anybody can convince me, and I don't want anybody to be fooled, that because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu removed subsidy on that same day, the same way others would have done it. No. For example, I'm not in Labour Party. I'm a PDP man, and I'm not here to project any issue
political party.
But you will know that this particular party, APC, avoided debate. That is the platform where people would have known, okay, you want to remove subsidy. How will you do it that people will not suffer? Jonathan calendarized the actions, but they came on the street to even carry his coffin. And
I never sat down to check his
they went
agendas.
against subsidy. They said subsidy was a scam. I'm not lying against you. You know the truth. The newspapers are there. The TV stations that aired all those
2012, 2013.
Yes. So when people don't come up for debate, you don't really know what they want to do. But people avoided the debate. I listened to Obi. I listened to Atiku that time. I listened to Baba when they were organizing crowds. They have self-supportive crowds. They say town hall meeting and so on.
Town hall meetings and
that's one of those things politicians do. We don't call opposition to our meetings
to tackle us and ask deep questions.
And then nobody will ask you questions. You have your own crowd of students who will say Baba or who will hail you. But you won't bring Shore, you won't bring all those people, you won't bring Peter to that place who will disrupt one's program. So I am saying in essence that we need to be very serious about politics in Nigeria, because right now the issue of inflation is not a thing that should be that we can write home about. Government will tell you from the Bureau of Statistics that they have so percentage of inflation. It has come down, it has gone up, it has come down, it's going down, it's going down. But the reality is that a matchbox outside there will still cost more tomorrow. The toothpaste we use, common toothpaste, I don't want to mention any brand, get it today, you will find out that it is half of the quantity that used to be inside.
When they started.
Yes, air takes.
Biscuit companies do that a lot. They
some biscuit companies, they have reduced the slices. No? Yes.
The quantity,
yes.
the quality.
And you find the bread you buy today very light. So those are the effects of inflation. And you pay more. Let us talk about schools. As parents, you don't expect proprietors to fuel the bus the same way they used to fuel during Jonathan's era.
Definitely.
When fuel was 197.
197, 97.
So proprietors could just overlook transport and so on. The bill won't be. But today, school fees are high because of inflation, because of the hardship that we are suffering now. So I don't know the policy of government now about education. When I think when Baba Ajashi and Adefarati and so on were in control of Ondo State, we used to give students free textbooks. When we were in school, the Oyewole brothers, Dotun, and so on, they gave us physics, chemistry, and one biology, and books like Goshen Leong, geography, all those things, and Ewuse, biology. They were free. I don't know now that we have more oil, we have more money, then we are not taking care of our students. Let me raise this point again about subsidy. They are telling us they are giving governors much more money.
Yeah, times. They even say times 3.
No, there's nothing. I can't see the effect. because a lot of state governments are owing pensioners. They are owing here and there, but they are not making the economy to reflate.
Despite the amount of money given.
Yes.
But do you think that's
when you pay contractors, the money comes back to circulation.
But do you think that is the fault of the federal government or the state governors themselves?
It is partly the fault of the federal government, who is up there. The federal government
out instructions.
Gives, at least when you look at the Constitution of Nigeria, more than 60% are in the exclusive list. So policy, the monetary policy and all those things, they've devolved from above. So the governors too, because of 2027, that some governors are now playing their ways to the heart of the president. They are not thinking about, are we not building a kind of revolt? Because the people will react when it gets to a point. You want to buy a cube of sugar and you still need to spend 100 naira for just 2 cubes of sugar? Is that not crazy?
Something that wasn't even up to 30, 40 naira.
So you can't transport yourself keke napep from a particular maybe a distance of 1 kilometer. You are spending 200, 300 naira. Before, from Akure to Ado Ekiti, or from Ondo to Akure, you have 500 naira, you will come back. But there is increase in fuel. There is increase.
Now there is 1,500, 2,005, 2,000.
So you can't even say your son, who is a student at maybe Federal Agri College there, should come home for weekend. You need to scratch your head before you answer.
Way.
We are saying that my own position is this. People have said all politicians are the same. We are not the same. We are not the same. Some of us still sit down, read, and look at what was so unique about Azikwe, what was so unique about Awolowo, what was so unique. And we have come to the conclusion that even all these politicians today, they are not looking at, look at Oji Uzokalu. He said 14 million was not enough for him to spend as salary. Now, these were men in those days. These were men in those days who sat down and looked at the issue concerning the masses first.
Before even thinking of their pockets.
Yes. So now as legislators, we fix one thing, allowance this, allowance that, and we complain that we hide under the canopy that people come to us to ask for money. Now, how many people will come to you to ask for money? If you legislate in such a way that you don't say you want to jail people because they are not voting. All you need to do is to make the dividends of democracy available to everybody.
People, yeah.
Even as the president today, you won't have the problem of saying you want to collapse the whole country into one party system. The country will, if today a cup of garri could be sold at very affordable price, if today a mudu of rice or of beans becomes so affordable, nobody will tell you that they will go with the president. If today the call rate, the rate of the tariff on electricity drops, and students can go to school. You see, our universities are down in spite of all this what they call what do they call it, loans. You obtain loan, jail is waiting for you if you don't pay back, and you can't get a job when you are out.
Exactly.
Is that how to think for the?
That's more like you are set for doom already.
Exactly.
Look at. Let me say this: government buy, they invest. They purchase vehicles every year. We have people who are assembling vehicles in Nigeria. We don't buy. We go for Japanese
vehicles and all that. Yeah.
And above all, we are not encouraging production. If today oil palm in Okitipa produces in such a way that we market all over the world, and individuals owing plantations are assisted by the appropriate agency of government to produce and let people consume. Even toothpick, we can't produce here. So the furniture that we use here, some are imported. So the asphalt we have in Ondo State, we still go out to import asphalt for our roads.
Whereas we have it in abundance.
So I don't think anybody who is sincere will think, and I know why it is so. I know why it is so. We are operating on a wrong terrain. You can't play football on lawn tennis court. Unless we restructure this country, nobody will get there and perform. Nobody. Imagine we go regional today and let there be competition. Let the Southwest, comprising Lagos, Ogun, and so on.
The 6 states.
Yes. Let them get their grid, their power grid and all those things. Let them get their sketch and all those things back on ground. And let us look at what the East will do. And the East are very, very creative.
Yeah, very.
You see, a lot of inventions are going on in Nigeria. But who is coordinating it? We have a ministry, Federal Ministry of what's it called? Science and Technology. People are doing some children are inventing drones. No, that should be taken to the laboratory and the technical workshop and improved upon. Very creative people. But what do we have? Just because everybody is focusing on oil to steal as much as possible.
Oil is lucrative and it's fast sales actually.
It's like going to the eatery. You don't need to no smoke. You don't hear smoke. You just go to the eatery. You buy.
You eat.
So, but you see, there is that natural one when you are the one doing it. I want to see Ondo State giving the license to
refine the asphalt here.
Asphalt. Then let it sell to other regions. That asphalt alone is enough for the Southwest.
Everybody, yeah, definitely.
But people would say, I don't know. I think Nigeria needs to be reorganized.
We'll get there actually. I will still look deeper into the aspect of restructuring and some other moves that have been happening so far. But first, let's go for Gold Start, where we'll encourage you to do something with your business life at this particular time. We all know that this time in this country, there are a lot of difficulties, but definitely there is a way out. You can also build with something that you have as we speak. So Gold Start inspires you towards this. So after Gold Start, we'll come back and just draw some conclusions from our discussions, and we'll just pinpoint some very important things as well. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, it's still Daybreak Africa, and yes, it's time to still go back to a discussion which we've been discussing. Tinubu's 2 years in office, the scorecard. We're still in the renewed hope, or a bit of the renewed Shege and all that. And yes, our parliamentarian, honorary parliamentarian, who used to be the former member House of Assembly in Ondo State, actually has been discussing with us holistically in some of them, especially in the economic aspects. But sir, I would like to look into the place of security. We know security is one of the most important places. Nigeria in the last 13 years, let's say 13 years, the thing that takes the bulk of our budget is security. But at this particular time, we are still experiencing extreme insecurity. And if something can be taking the bulk of our budget and still we are not seeing extreme results, how do you score President Tinubu in that aspect, talking about the place of security?
Well, you see, I love to be sincere with issues like that, because anybody can be a victim of insecurity. I go back memory lane. When I was council, I was sitting on the chair in Ondo East. We had our own system. We organized locally. That was I'm talking about 2010, 2011, 2012, 2009 to 2011. We organized and we get some youths. We call them volunteers, and we're giving them stipends every month. In fact, the governor approved that for the states, then the 18 local governments, 50 youths. Because of the terrain of my own domain, I took permission and we sat down at our F&GPC, Finance and General Purposes Committee, where the Oshemawe himself had a representation. And we agreed that I suggested that because of that, let us give 100 people instead of 50. The money meant for 50 people, let us spread it on 100. So that we could have information from every quarter. Yes, at least. We had good results that time. the police, the DSS, and we were all working together. And even it got to an extent that governor had to call me one night and say, you did well in that area. I'm reading your report now. Because there was to be a crisis somewhere. And when the DSS told me, what do we do? He said, we should move there and settle. We went there in the evening, met the villagers, brought them together, and we settled it. What I'm driving at is that security is everybody's responsibility. You cannot sit up there and be saying federal, SA, NSA, or whatever. It is right here on ground that those men killing people, they don't kill federal people, they kill local people. So once the sensitization is on ground right here, then it goes up there. You secure the ground before the plane lands. You secure the ground. So for any government policy, you have to secure the grassroots before it can grow. So I am suggesting that all council areas should have a kind of security summit. Look at the peculiarity and then forge ahead with solutions. In every local government, you have experienced retired police officers, soldiers, and so on.
All that, yeah.
Bring them together. Let them solve the problem. So, and gradually like that, as state, them up there. Then in the House of Assembly at state level, you have the Committee for Security. I've been there as chairman at the period, and we had a security summit bringing together all the chiefs, the cabinets, and so on, telling them how to relate with farmers and the herders. And in actual fact, the one we are experiencing now is similar to what happened during Jonathan's era.
Right, yeah.
Yes. People confess that they brought in strangers from other countries, from the Sahel into Nigeria. And my expectation has always been that, what are we doing? Even the president who was there, who never addressed the matter, even when they killed several people in Benue and in Plateau.
Plateau, yeah. Yes. You never showed this. You never
where Baba Adeboye shed tears looking at corpses. Nigerians need to sit up. Our leaders need to sit up. The insecurity that we are taking security votes, heavy security votes about. What are we doing? Soldiers come on maybe on YouTube and so on to complain about what's happening in Plateau, in Benue. But those things are not happening today. They've been happening
for a long time.
For a long time. And everything will start from the locality. If strangers come around and you alert those who can carry gun, having divested the people of their weapons for a particular time, there was a time they said people should submit their guns and so on. The strangers will swoop on them. And so I think the government, the federal government, the president has good intentions to secure Nigeria. But according to open revelations going on in Nigeria, people have established a kind of policy. They have executed policies that will make people, they recycled, what do they call them? Insurgents.
Insurgents, yeah.
They recycle them. There is no way, there's no way you will turn ashes to wood. You can't turn ashes to wood. They are burnt out to kill, to maim, to destroy. That was the assignment. I was not the one who gave them more. But the confessions are out there. If a Boko Haram person already did in that system, kind of ideology, now wears Nigerian army uniform, because you said you have reintegrated them.
Reintegrate and rehabilitate.
Then you are bringing gunpowder near your gas burner.
And it's going to bomb.
That is what we have now. So who are we to teach them? Because we have, when Buratai was chief of army, whatever.
Army staff, yeah.
He said it would take another 10 years before we could get Boko Haram or insurgency suppressed.
Okay.
Don't forget that when Jonathan was there, he brought in some mercenaries. And that time, they dealt with these Boko Haram people. So if the intelligence circle in Nigeria believes that, like Commodore Olawumi came that time and did a very fearless analysis, and we are still like this, then can we say we have any hope? Can we say we have any hope? If in Bokos, because that one is in my head. I've been in Bokos in Plateau for a wedding some years back.
Very popular place actually,
yes.
in Plateau State.
And I can imagine that time, if we were there, that these people could come. Then not less than 60 people from Mondo would have been killed. If they could be killing people like that, and they allege that they will call soldiers will not answer
their calls.
Strangers coming into Nigeria, and we are talking about election. I mean, we should get serious. Our security agencies, they are working, but where are the political strengths, the political might and muscles to get all their proposals executed? I understand, with my little interaction, I know that these departments will tell you lies. They will do the cross analysis and will put it on the table of the man who is supposed to take the final decision. So if we are not getting results from security, we can get much more if we stand up to the situation where we use technology. Now the whole world is using drones. Look at what is happening between Israel and Hamas. Look at what is going on somewhere else.
Russia, Ukraine,
even in Burkina Faso here.
Yeah.
Look at what is going on. So we need to get our creativity
on ground,
right, and then address our local issues. You can't address insecurity without getting to the grassroots. Look at Abuja. Abuja has a lot of local governments and so on.
Yeah, localities
and so on.
Communities,
local communities, and people will still suffer because the government has not done much for them to grant them that opportunity to defend themselves. So unless we get that, we need to be serious.
So that means
okay. You actually mentioned, having talked about the insecurity aspects of the whole thing, then earlier you also mentioned the education part, that we no longer have free education as some years back. So are we now agreeing, or are we now saying that there is no aspect at all that we can give it to our dear president, that, oh, President, in this aspect you've done well, in this aspect you've done well? Is there no other aspects?
I have not said he didn't do well. What I have said is that from my own perspective, he could have done better. And I also pity him because I gave an illustration of playing football on a lawn tennis court.
Yes, you mentioned that.
So there is no way Osimhen will satisfy you on a lawn tennis court except jogging the ball. It's like the kind of democracy we have today. We are talking of popular democracy and in a civilized, civil rule. But are we getting the effect? We are not getting the effect because those who are not June 12th, they are still working on Nigeria. And they won't let Nigeria go because they are the owners of Nigeria. They claim to be the owners of Nigeria. And our politicians are just dancing there. They don't even look at the background. There is no, unless there is a very, very serious restructuring. People have been shouting. They are dying. Baba Adebayo is gone. The Park Clark, they are gone.
They are gone.
Those people who saw the pre-colonial days, pre-independence days, and they are saying, look, we need to go back to the basics. This structure that we are putting on the foundation, we have destructed the kind of foundation. So we should go back. So there's no way President Tinubu will do exactly what will benefit the masses, because he's even handicapped by the structure. Except that he promised that he will restructure. I thought he would do that to make this work.
But we saw the local government autonomy.
If today, those issues like autonomy to local government,
yeah,
I'm telling you, they say kind of arm twisting by the APC, all the governors, let me say all the governors, because when Aketi was alive, I was in the house, and we addressed this autonomy of autonomy. Senator Bamidele came to us, brought the areas of amendment in the constitution. We passed those things that the governors insisted we should pass. I'm saying this, my colleagues can bear me out. Now, autonomy is supposed to make local governments strong, so that people who are experienced, who will get to the local government, you either choose to go to jail or to perform, because you have enough money and people can knock at your door anytime. When we were in the local government, we never had the mind to borrow one kobo, even when there was no money. We never. So imagine if much money comes now. I will tell you a story. We were paying, they were deducting primary school teachers salaries from our allocation. We didn't know it. It was veiled, and I took the decision that I wanted to know how much my local government was what was being deducted from my local government. I went around the schools with camera, put every teacher on this thing, to know all their grades and so on. And what I did was to get experts, accountants and so on, help me calculate. When I wanted to submit the report, yes, that is the truth. And today, I don't think any local government chairman would say this is the right amount, because I was in that local government, education secretary too. I was supervisor, and I became chairman, and I knew the terrain. I knew the number of teachers. The one I employed when I was education secretary, I knew the number, and I calculated if these people started 2 years ago, and so at level 6 or level 6, this is what will be accurate. But the autonomy, what I'm saying is that until local government chairmen can come out with their budget supervised by all the interests in the community, and they know that yes, throughout the year we will receive 2 billion, and this 2 billion will commit also staff and so on, this is what we get. It is then that I can say kudos to autonomy. Because governors still have one way.
They are somehow manipulating the whole process. Yes,
one of the governors led others to Buhari, and when he used executive order. They said, if you should continue, we won't support you for second term. And the man had to cunningly adjust himself. So Nigerian politicians need to be very, very forthright with the people and look at your tomorrow. We are talking of Awolowo, we are talking of Azikwe, we are talking of Ahmadu Bello. Some people will just disappear. Will be erased because there is no landmark.
Nothing attached to them.
There is no philosophical pillar on ground. What is your position on education? What is your position on security? Security. What is your position about erasing Almajiri in the north?
Almajiri especially, which is a very big phenomenon.
Many of them died.
They just die, they move on the road and all of that. And and these are children.
Out of school children in Nigeria. It's a shame that we are number 6 in oil production and we are still like this.
Still here.
So, whereas Qatari or Saudi Arabians don't have
what we have. Tinubu from the Lagos end and his people around him, they will be clapping. I have cause to clap for him too in some areas, because Abbas said àwa ló kàn, Yorùbá ló kàn. But I was expecting that Yoruba would showcase like Awolowo did.
The brightness of excellence.
Yes, let us look at it. We will showcase. We will look at things, and other regions will be saying, or other ethnic groups will be saying, tí Yorùbá bá ṣèjọba, a máa ń gbádùn wọn. But are the Yorubas graduating now? So I think he can still do better. He has 2 years to spend more before the other 4 years. God granting him the grace,
the success.
Yes, and I know if we continue like this, if by within the next few weeks now, we see a bag of rice coming down to 30,000, 35,000.
It's not all this. Now.
It's not all this minus 2,000 today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it goes back, and people are shouting on the internet that Papa has. No, don't let them deceive you, Papa. Bring that cost of rice down to 35,000. Let beans be cheaper. Let everything
reduce drastically.
Yes,
it should be obvious.
I will be one of those people who will be on the street. Ejeki Papa continue.
Okay.
We will look towards that because
we are hoping.
What else do I need? If my children can go to school with less amount
of money,
if my children can get out of school and get jobs, if my children can go to any of these agencies and obtain loan to start their businesses,
if they could even eat without
if I can
stress,
if I can drive from here to Abuja without being harassed, because I've done it before, but I won't do it again. So that is it.
The fear of kidnappers is the beginning of wisdom.
I will not leave my. I will do the wicked thing, and I will be saying Baba has done well.
Well, I would have loved to ask a question, but then they have already alerted us.
Yes, we need to be serious.
Our time is gone. So, but then we need to be serious. I was even telling someone recently that sometimes I think I fear Nigeria's democracy because our democracy seems to give us more politics than governance. But then that's the talk for another day. So let's just stop it here because if we keep on going, we'll keep pressing into a lot of things. But thanks so much for being a part of this segment because we really appreciate it. 50 minutes passed without us even knowing that 50 minutes passed. Because this is something that we can talk about.
We are not biased.
Yeah, we are not biased. And I like the fact that it was just being sincere and straight and all that. But then we have to take sports for now and all that. I know that many people out there are still talking about sports and all that. But then focus on what the government is doing. Like you said, there's still 2 years to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's first tenure. Let's see if they can reduce inflation drastically. Let's see if they can work on security. Let's see if they can work on education. Let's see if some of those things that we have addressed here can be especially the place of restructuring. We need proper restructuring actually. But then let's take sports for now, and after sports we'll come back and just draw a conclusion on Daybreak Africa. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back to the show. If just joining us, it's still Daybreak Africa. I hope you're enjoying sports, and yes, it's time to say our goodbyes on Daybreak. Before we say our goodbyes, that discussion was deep.
Very deep.
Let's very see ourselves. It was kind of deep. I think it came from a place of pain, place of what could have been, a place of judging from most of the things we've learned so far from people like Awolowo, Azikwe and Co. We should be doing better by now.
Exactly.
You
actually mentioned that we should do better
by now. Yeah. And the fact that I think the one that really got me there was when you talked about the fact that you can't play football in a lawn tennis court.
Yes.
That you have to actually play football in a football pitch. So Nigeria needs the proper structure that will make us, do the right things that will give us the kind of development we want to experience. And I know that what was trying to address there was the place of restructuring the country, because if the country is not restructured, even if you put saints like anybody can call a saint, I think Baba Daybreak should be a saint. Even if you put him there, he might not really do too well.
Because the foundation that was already there, it's not something that you can actually build upon for too long. So there's a place of restructuring where we have to put things in their place, in the right places actually.
So if those things are there, then definitely the
to
kind
build
of
on
success.
It might not be the bigger problem actually. Yes.
I think the foundation is where the problem comes from. But then, like he said, if things can come down in prices, if you can be safe enough to at least travel to Abuja again, like
without thinking of kidnapping or whatever harassment,
then definitely himself will be one of those that are going to come out and really campaign for Tinubu and say, yes, and all those kind of things. And same, honestly,
something applicable to me. If I can feed without stress, have
I don't
access
mind.
to other good things of life without stress.
I just want the good things of life.
I just want the good things.
Whether it's the coalition that will offer me that or the current administration.
I don't care.
Nobody hates anybody.
I just want to be comfortable at least.
We don't hate the president, we don't hate the coalition, we don't hate anybody that has been there. The cocoa there is just do the right thing.
Exactly.
And if the right thing is done, we
will support you.
We'll support. There is no problem with it. And that's all. But then at this point, we still bring you views on all those kind of things. We'll still bring you details on how things are going as we speak. But then it's time to say goodbyes on Daybreak Africa for today. We'll meet tomorrow again. Same place, same station. My name still remains Ikhonede Joshua Odeji.
And my name remains Miracle Odunayo.
Bye guys.